So, a very good evening to everyone. I welcome you to today's masterclass. We'll be considering a very important topic, a very, very important topic. And if you are a student and you want to excel academically, you want to move forward in your academics, you need to pay attention to everything that we will be talking about here. Today's masterclass is specially designed for students, whether you are in the secondary school level or you are in the tertiary level. Today's masterclass promises to be an eye-opener. The topic we'll be considering is mastering time management, the key to academic excellence. Academic excellence. Now, without further ado, I want to believe that we all know what excellence is. Excellence simply has to do with you excelling, you performing well, you doing so well at something, at a particular task. That is what excellence is. And so when we are talking about academic excellence, we are talking about performing well, doing well at your academic work. When you are excelling in your academic activities, you take an exam, you pass your exams well, you make straight A's, B's, you submit a project work and you get an A or a B in it. You take down classworks, assignments, and you are excelling in them. That is what we mean, or what I mean by academic excellence. Now, when it comes to excelling academically, one key component of your academic journey is going to be time management. The truth is that time is your most precious non-renewable resource. Time is your most precious non-renewable resource, and you have to master it. You have to become a master of your time. People excel or fail because of how they manage their time. Imagine this. We have two students that receive the same syllabus, the same resources, the same lecturers, the same textbooks, the same number of hours in a day. However, one aces his exams, his courses, while the other barely passes or even fails outrightly. What exactly is the difference? The difference is not necessarily in the intelligence. The difference is definitely not in luck. The difference is in time management. One knows how to make proper use of his time or her time, while the other doesn't. The truth is that if you are going to excel academically, you must be a master of time management. Now we are going to divide this class into four sections. And the first one is going to be understanding time. In this first section, we are going to be delving into gaining proper understanding of what time and time management is all about. Now, I need to state this. I believe it's something you are already aware of. We have 24 hours in a day. And how we use that 24 hours is what determines the entire trajectory of our life. What is time management? Time management is simply the conscious planning and control of the time you spend on specific activities so as to increase effectiveness, efficiency, and productivity. I take it again. Time management is the conscious planning and control of time spent on specific activities to increase effectiveness, efficiency, and productivity. How you properly plan and control your time so that you can spend it on certain activities that will help you to be more effective in your life, that will help you to be more efficient, that is, you are able to get the results that you desire in any endeavor that you undertake. Ensuring that you are productive, you are able to produce, you are able to ensure that the things you need to accomplish, you are accomplishing them within the stipulated time. This is what time management is all about. And for a student, time management is all about how the student is able to properly divide and utilize this time to cater for studying, attending lectures, writing his exams, doing an assignment, undertaking a project work, participating in class discussions and group work, and all of these things. How the student is able to consciously plan and control his time with regard to all of these activities that I have just mentioned is what time management could mean for a student. Now, why is it that students struggle with time management? What are some of the problems that have been identified by psychologists when it comes to students being unable to properly manage their time with respect to their academic work? The first one is procrastination. Procrastination. What is procrastination? Procrastination simply means putting off till tomorrow what ought to be done today. When a person puts off till another time what ought to be done at the moment, we can say the person has procrastinated. When a person is supposed to read or study by 5 p.m. in the evening, and it's already 5 p.m., but then he decides to postpone it to maybe 10 p.m. at another time, he is said to have what? Procrastinated. Another one is lack of prioritization. You see, not only in a student's life, in the life of everyone, there are so many things that call for our attention. And the problem is that we have just 24 hours in a day, which means we have limited time but unlimited attractions. Our time is being competed for by different activities, going to the gym, engaging in a business, watching a movie, reading a novel, engaging in social media discussions. Different things are competing for our time. But then how do we solve this problem? That is where prioritization comes in. What is prioritization? This is you selecting things on the basis of importance. That means you are selecting things based on which is more important. When you look at it, options A, B, C, and D, then you select A based on how it is important with respect to B, which means you decide that A is more important than B. And so that is prioritization. Now, a lot of students do not properly prioritize. There are many students who, instead of studying, they prefer to engage in meaningless discussions on social media. There are a lot of students who don't know when to study and when to participate in group discussions. There are times, it is not even every time that you attend lectures. There are times that you may need to withdraw from lectures in order to give more time to studying. There are times you may need to pause down on studying so that you can participate in group discussions. This is where the matter of prioritization comes into play. Another reason why students struggle is distractions, especially in the world we live in today, digital distractions. A lot of distractions, the invitation to party, invitation to do things that do not necessarily contribute to a student's advancement in his academics. These things call for the student's attention. And like I earlier on mentioned, we live in an age that is driven by the digital world. In the world we live in today, so many side attractions, so many things are present on social media, and these things call for the attention of the student. And that is why, as a student, you have to be careful. You have to be careful and ensure that you do not fall into being distracted by different things that are bound here and there. Then the fourth reasons why students struggle is unrealistic scheduling. Unrealistic scheduling. For instance, some students may decide to set up their plans, their academic plans for the day. Maybe they decide that, okay, immediately after class by 5 p.m., they are going to engage in studying by the same 5 p.m. Now, that kind of scheduling might be unrealistic. Why? Because immediately after class, your brain, your mind will be exhausted. And so trying to study immediately might not be feasible. So you may need to look at your body and then make the necessary adjustment, and you schedule realistically. Unrealistic scheduling of time, apportioning of time, can only lead to frustration, because at the end of the day, you will not be able to meet up with the deadlines. And what it does is that when you are unable to meet up with deadlines, it affects your psychology. And before you know what is happening, you lack the motivation to pursue your academic goals and your academic plans. And this would affect you overall. Now, I want you to have a specific reflection prompt at this point in time. I want you to ask yourself this question: what does a typical day in your life look like? Take a look at your day and then make a proper diagnosis of what your day looks like. Write out all the activities that go on in your day, in your day-to-day affairs. Write out all the activities. Okay, you wake up 5 a.m. After waking up 5 a.m., you pray. After praying, you brush your teeth. Then you prepare something to eat before you go out. All of those things, write them down honestly and as accurately as possible. Remember all the activities you do on a day-to-day basis. I want you to do that. Take some time to do that. Then ask yourself this question: how much time do you waste unknowingly? That is, prior to the time you perform this exercise, how do you, what time zones or what time periods and how much time do you spend engaging in things that do not necessarily contribute to your academic performance, towards advancing you towards your academic goals? Maybe time that you spend partying, time that you spend reading a novel that doesn't really help you academically, time that you spend watching movies. Look at all of these things. Now, don't get me wrong, watching movies is good, reading novels is good, but time that you feel that this time could have been used productively. For instance, as a student, you're watching movie for about 5 hours. That is not healthy enough. And so you might want to cut down on some of those things. Maybe watching of movies would not be an everyday affair. It's going to be something that you do once in a week or twice in a week. So all of these things, you have to take note of the period, the times, the amount of time that you waste on frivolous or unnecessary activities. Now we're going to go over to section 2. Like I said, we're having 4 sections we're going to be dealing with. We are currently in the second section. And this second section is the foundation, setting the right priorities. The focus of this section is for us to see how you as a student can set the right kind of priorities. Now, proceeding, I'm going to talk about what I call the 80-20 rule, popularly known by psychologists as the Pareto principle. Now, what does this principle state? It states that 80% of the results that you will get will come from 20% of the effort that you put into that endeavor. Which means that if you want to be productive and effective, you have to learn to channel 20% of your effort so that you can get 80% of your results. What that means is that you should learn how to perform the most important tasks so that you can get the best kind of results. Oftentimes, we hear of students who read and read and read. They do this, they do that, they're about this, they're about that. But at the end of the day, it's as though all their efforts cannot give them the kind of grace that they desire. It's as if all their efforts have been washed down the drain. Why is that so? It is simply because while they are dispensing a lot of energy, they are not directing it properly for them to be effective. I want you to understand that energy is not something that can be reconciled, it's not appreciated unless it is translated into effectiveness. Effort without effectiveness is a waste of energy. And so understand that your goal is not to be just busy. It's not for you to just be busy. Your goal is for you to be effective. Your goal should not be to dispense a lot of effort, but to get a lot of effectiveness. And that is why you have to be smart. You have to be wise. You have to be intelligent in the way you use your time. You have to focus on the tasks that truly matter. And now, how do you know the right kind of tasks? The tasks that truly matter. You make use of what I call the Eisenhower matrix. The Eisenhower matrix, Eisenhower, the Eisenhower matrix. The Eisenhower matrix is all about classifying tasks into 4 major groups. The first group of tasks talks about the activities that are urgent and important. They are urgent and important. Now, important means that they are necessary. It is good that you do them. It is very good. It is very necessary for you to do them. But urgent means that not only is it necessary, but you have to do it at the very moment. Because trying to do it at a later moment may result in a catastrophe. That is what it means for the task to be urgent and important. So you have to check. For instance, you have an assignment to submit by 8 a.m. tomorrow. That task of doing that assignment today is going to be an urgent task, because you cannot say you want to be doing the assignment by 7:30 the next day, the following day, because you don't know. Things may come up in the new day that will prevent you from doing the assignment, and as a result of that, you would fail in that. So at that point, it becomes an urgent task to attend to your assignment. Then important but not urgent. You have to take note of what tasks. Academic tasks are important, but they are not urgent. And then urgent but not important, meaning that people want you to do something, but it's not really important to you. Take, for instance, now, a friend comes to you and says he wants you to explain a particular mathematical equation or mathematical whatever. He wants you to explain a particular concept in your academics. Now, as far as you are concerned, it's not really important to you. But for that individual, it is important and it is urgent to that individual. Maybe that person has a test to take in the next 1 hour. It is important and urgent to him. But to you, it is not really important. So while it is urgent, it is not important to you. It is urgent because your friend needs it at the moment. You might decide not to really pay attention to it. And then you have neither urgent nor important. There are many tasks that people partake in that are not urgent and they are not important. As a matter of fact, distractions can be classified in this category. There are many things that we call as distractions, and these are things that are neither urgent nor important most of the times. And so I want you now to classify all the tasks related to your academics, related to your life in general. Sit down and carefully undertake this exercise. Classify it. What tasks are urgent, are important? What tasks are important but not urgent? Which ones are urgent but not important? And which ones are neither urgent nor important? And then I want you to write down your top 5 weekly academic goals. What are your 5 weekly academic goals? That, okay, this week I want to have read and covered 100 pages in my textbook. I want to have done this, I want to have done that. So you write down the top 5 academic goals for the week. The top 5, you have so many, but write down the top 5. Write down the top 5, then you take those top 5 and classify them based on this Eisenhower matrix that I have given. I want you to understand that according to Stephen Covey, you don't prioritize your schedule, but you schedule your priorities. You don't prioritize all the activities and all of that, but you do what? You schedule your priorities. You determine what are the priorities, what are the important things that you ought to do, and then you allot time as appropriately to each and every one of them. Now we're going to look at the third section here, which is the section of planning with purpose. How do you plan? Remember I said that time management, proper time management, entails how you plan as well. And so you must plan your time. You don't just wake up into every day just expecting the day to run like that. You plan your day. You plan your day, or else, as I like to fondly tell people, your day will plan you. Your day will plan you. When you plan your day, you become what? You assume a position where you are much more in control of your day than when you don't plan it. Planning has power. The students who plan how they read for their exams, how they would manage their time, what tasks to perform at different periods in time, those kind of students are the ones that outperform those that do not plan. Check yourself. Perhaps you are failing, or perhaps you are not doing as you would like to do, as you would like to perform academically, simply because you do not plan your time out. You just, anytime you want to wake up is when you wake up. And anytime you feel like going to the bathroom is when you go to the bathroom. Anytime you feel like attending lectures in class is when you'd attend lectures in class. Check yourself very well. If you are not planning properly, you are indirectly planning to fail. Now, I want you to understand that what are the things, I want you to understand the things that can enable you, the tools that can enable you to have a meaningful plan on how to use your time. The first thing you need is calendar. You need a calendar and planner. Now, the good thing about the world we live in today is that calendars are now digital. So you don't have to have a hard copy or a printed paper. You don't need any of that. You have everything on your phone. And so make use of calendars. Calendars help you to know, okay, the various dates for important events. For instance, you have 3 months away before your exam surfaces. So it means you have to look at your calendar and tell yourself, ask yourself, how many days, how many months, how many weeks do you have until your exam begins? Then based on that, you make plans as to how to apportion your time properly with respect to the volume of work that lies before you. Another point, another time management tool is what is called the Pomodoro technique. Now, what's the Pomodoro technique all about? It's simply about what? About working, studying, reading, practicing questions for just about 20 to 25 minutes. And immediately after that, you take a break for about 5 minutes. Now, why is this important? When you study for 25 minutes, your brain becomes hazy, becomes weaker, the assimilation rate drops. But then when you give yourself 5 minutes to ease off and relax, your brain becomes rejuvenated and assumes a position where it is ready to absorb a lot of information. Then we need to talk about time blocking. Allocate fixed time slots for specific tasks. Time blocking simply entails that you take a look at the 24 hours of your day, then you apportion time appropriately. Okay, I'm going to wake up 5 a.m. tomorrow, and between 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. I'm going to spend time to pray. Between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. I'm going to spend time to study. Between 8 a.m. and 4 a.m. I have to be in class. Between this, what you are doing is that you are compartmentalizing your day, breaking it into smaller bits and portions, and apportioning different activities to different time blocks. That is what it means. And then you have a to-do list. That's the fourth time management tool I want to talk about. You need to have a to-do list. A to-do list basically gives you a proper idea, a proper picture of what you ought to do. And in the order of priority, you need to attend to them. It helps you to know that, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do, this is what I'm supposed to do. And so when I've done this, I should be thinking of doing this as the next thing. Once I have done A, I should be thinking of how to do B and how to do C after doing B. So that is what a to-do list helps you to do. Now I want to talk about beating procrastination. We said that procrastination simply means putting off what ought to be done today until tomorrow. Now, how do you do that? How do you beat procrastination? The first thing is that you have to break a big task into small chunks. Most of the time, people procrastinate because when they take a look at a challenge, when they take a look at the workload that is before them, what happens is that they collapse under pressure. They collapse under pressure. And because they want to escape that, they procrastinate. They tell themselves, okay, I'm not in the best shape to do this today. I'm going to do it at another time, at a more convenient time. Well, that is wrong. The truth is that you'll never find it. You don't get motivation by just some random thing. You get motivation by actually starting the activity. And then you also reward yourself after completing a task. Reward yourself after completing a task. It helps to boost your dopamine level, your dopamine release. And it also helps you to be encouraged and motivated to pursue other tasks related to your academics. And you'll be able to beat up procrastination. Reward yourself. Rewarding yourself can take the form of, okay, when I'm done studying, I'm going to watch a movie. When I'm done studying, I'm going to buy myself an ice cream. When I'm done studying, I'm going to eat. All of these things, they are the various forms of reward that you can do for yourself. Now, what's the activity that I want you to undertake here? I want you to take a look at how your tomorrow is going to be like. What are the things that you're going to do tomorrow? Make a to-do list of them. Then arrange them in order of priority. After that, assign appropriate time blocks to them. For instance, if you're going to wash clothes tomorrow, assign the time zone, the time period that you'd be using to wash your clothes. Perhaps it's going to be 10 a.m. till 11 a.m. So it means that between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m., you are going to be washing clothes. So you put it just like that. Now, I want to talk about avoiding the traps that eat up your time, that makes you to be unable to properly manage your time. Now, what are these traps? The traps are distractions, burnout, and overcommitment. Distractions, burnout, and overcommitment. Now, when we say distractions are simply things that, while they may be important, they make you to lose focus of the important things that you ought to be paying attention to. That's what distractions are. Then when we say burnout, burnout has to do with a period where one is extremely bored with what he's doing, tired of what he's doing, and is no longer enjoying it. And psychologically, the person begins to even resent what he or she is doing. That's what burnout is. Tiredness with regards to what is being done. And then you have overcommitment. Overcommitment. A lot of students are overcommitted to so many things. They are fully engaged with different activities at church, fully engaged with different activities in various political organizations and institutions, fully engaged with different things. So many things. That's overcommitment. These things are traps. As a student, there must not be a distraction in your life. There must not be burnout. You have to take care of your body. You have to take care of your mental health. You have to take care of all of these things. And then there shouldn't be overcommitment. You should know when you ought to do this, when you ought to be studying, when you ought to be reading, and you ought to know when you ought to be doing other things. Now, what are the things that can help you to overcome digital distractions? Because, like I said before, distractions take various forms, but in the world we live in today, digital distractions are bound very well. Now, strategies. The first is that you can use app blockers like Forest or Focus at Will to block out apps, other apps that may seem to be running in your phone. Then another thing is that you must also learn to set do not disturb periods. You must have time periods whereby people should not be allowed to call you. Maybe the best they can do is send you a message that, oh, so and so, this and that, and let them understand that that should only come in when it's a very serious matter for you to attend to, so that you can be able to study in a distraction-free manner. Then you must learn to say no. You must learn to say no. In the Bible, the Apostle Paul says all things are lawful, but not, all things are expedient, but not all things are lawful. He was basically saying that there are so many things that he can have, that he can do, but not all of those things are necessary for him. Not all of those things are necessary for him. And so there are many activities that are bound. You must learn to say no. There are times people are going to approach you and say, oh, please, can you help me do this? Can you help me do that? You must say no. As a student who wants to excel, when you look at that thing that that person is asking you to help him or her to do, and you see that that thing is going to take time, it's going to encroach into your reading time, your studying time, you have to learn to say no. Then you must also guard against burnout. How do you guard against burnout? You must spend time to rest, enough time to rest, schedule rest of about 6 to 7 or 8 hours, sleep. And then spend time for fun as well. Get to engage in games, meaningful games, travel out, visit people, friends, learn towards schedule rest and fun. Then you practice the power hour, which is 1 hour a day for focused, uninterrupted work. You have to practice that. Then sleep is a non-negotiable factor. You must spend enough time to sleep. Don't ever fall into the trap of thinking that you have to what? You have to deny yourself of sleep for you to excel academically. The truth is that it oftentimes backfires. Good sleep, adequate sleep is necessary for proper memory development. Now, what is the conclusion? Like I said, we are dealing with 4 sections, and this is the 4th one. And the question is, what is the conclusion? The first thing is that you need to understand that time is your superpower, and so you must know how to manage it. In the bid to manage your time appropriately as a student, you must know your priorities. What are your priorities? What are the important tasks based on the order of importance? Use your planning tools effectively. Use the Eisenhower matrix. Go through everything that I have said before and use them effectively. Then eliminate distractions. Protect your well-being, your health, sleep enough, get adequate rest, eat well. And then understand one more thing. You ought to be consistent and not necessarily perfect. You see, at the end of the day, the race is not always to the swift. The race is not always to those that seem to be doing everything perfectly. But it is much more to those that are consistent. Consistency must be your watchword as an academic personnel, as a student. You cannot be saying that you start your reading on Monday, Tuesday you are not studying, Wednesday you are not studying, maybe you study again on Thursday, you study again on maybe Friday, and then here is what is happening. Here's what is happening. Your inconsistency begins to affect your overall results. Understand that nothing beats consistency. You must be what? Consistent. Now, what's the call to action overall? I want you to understand that your academic success is not buried in textbooks. Neither is it buried or hidden in some secret formula. Your academic success is already in your hands. And it's in the fact, it's in your ability to know how to manage your time appropriately. Once you can master time management, you will excel as far as your academics is concerned. Time is what we want most, but it's what we use worst. William Penn said so. There are many people, they want time, enough time. Why didn't you do this? I didn't have the time. Oh, I wish I had more time. I would have done this, I would have done that. But the truth is that when the time is available, do people really do what they said they would have done if they had had more time? Chances are most people don't. And so we must learn to be proper stewards of our time. As a student, you must learn to be a proper steward of your time. Plan it very well. Thank you very much. Now, I'd like you to go through all the action plans that I've talked about. Spend a lot of time to go through them. Now, I don't know if perhaps you missed out this masterclass. It's going to be available on my YouTube channel. Please, when you get to my YouTube channel, I invite you to subscribe so that you can have access to other videos that I'll be putting up on my YouTube channel. Also, I want you to take note that this masterclass holds every week, Tuesdays, except otherwise stated. But every Tuesday by 8:30 p.m., this masterclass holds. And maybe if you are going to be watching this masterclass, perhaps on YouTube, and you don't know how you can be a part of the masterclass, how to join the group chat, simply check the link in the description box of the YouTube video. You'll see the link there, and then you can join. Finally, I want to enjoin you to invite your friends and people around you that you know might benefit from these masterclass sessions. Invite them and let them be a part. Send them the invite link, the Telegram invite link. And as you do so, the Lord bless you in the name of Jesus. So if you have any question, please drop it in the Telegram group chat. I will be happy to answer you. With that, I'm going to end this video recording.